Go. Say, like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go right back to what we were working the other day. There's so many little things without me describing so deeply within that pass that are so critical that lead to, like, you're basically building this foundation of how you're going to pass, and then you're going to react off of that pass. So this is where, in case you weren't here, you were here, right? We made some connections, and I told you that got some type of a frame on the inside. This is how we were. And then you were like this, and then the moment you're here, you're obviously flaring left or right. It's not realistic for you to, you could pass different ways. You could stack pass, you can flare over the top. Like, there's different ways to pass, but regardless of any of them, I need disconnection of this. You cannot dominate my points of contact. Then you can't move. You know, people say to me, well, whatever, people ask me, yeah, I want to go to gi, but man, I want to do no gi, but you know, I've been doing gi so long, and then when the top comes off, it's so fast, and I can't get. Yeah, I know, but you got no points of contact, man. Like, you have no points of contact. You've been playing gi forever, and you're so reliant on these grips that are false. Like, what are you, like, you know? So I want points of contact. Now, if I reverse engineer everything, don't I not want points of contact if I'm on the flip side of it? Of course I do. So you're always looking at, because I always tell you BJJ balances itself out perfectly, right? So I don't want points of contact. I can't have this. This is not, everything about you picking me up, elevating, this is not acceptable. Somebody has points of contact, and now they're grabbing me with two hands and these two insteps. This is not going to go well in my favor. If you think about it, if he just falls back just a little bit, I'm going to be on top of him, right? Come up for a second. And now he grabs me hard. And now this is all going to go south now. He's got a clamp. He's got legs. He can float me out. This is all going to go south. So think about it in a reverse engineered structure. I do not allow 4 points of contact on me. Unacceptable, because right now favors him. So I want to look at the equation in an opposite setting. So when you say to me, what's so big about that? I think it's huge, okay? So the moment I'm like this, where we were the other day, I can't allow 4 points of contact. He probably is gripping me on top. I'm going to accept it. He is going to grip me on top, because the world doesn't fall all in my favor, right? So I got to start releasing points of contact. If he's sitting up like this, and now this is where we were, and I kicked out one, okay? Not only one less point of contact. And now we're working all these passes and stuff. But as I'm like this is where we were the other day. I'll explain it right now. We're going to keep these legs open for a second. I came up the center line. If you don't understand passing in a deep concept, is you should always be thinking about this, because it's really frustrating for me to watch, and especially for some of the more experienced players, where there's this opportunity just to get to chapter 1 in the equation, and they'll go, this is wide open, and instead of just going nearest point, they'll go, shh, and you go, where are you going, man? Don't back out now. The opening was there. So 1 in, 1 out is critical. 2 behind 1 would be better, right? Because my end product is to get my head here. But if you're a leg locker, 1 in, 1 out's a money spot for you, right? You'll see this in competition, right? They'll be standing. Yeah, I know, they keep trying to step in the center line, right? Because that's their money spot, and backstepping, and Johnny made that whole thing with the double trouble and all those things. That's where it starts, right? This doesn't start. If I go like this, right, the essence of stepping back and catching this leg, right? But if, remember I said the other day, shoot these guys up, it's unacceptable. Now there's no backstepping, and now it plays your favor, because you're on a hard de la hiva, that when you step it, you come here, now you hook me this way, now you step me out, and I go, oh damn, this went south for me, right? So the essence of that is vice versa, right? Now let's go through the move, right? So we talked about this whole concept. When I first flared, I'm like this, right? And now he's got one's contact point. I got rid of 1. I didn't get rid of 2, all right? If it was 2, this would be like this, okay? But he's got 3 on top, but now I'm agile. Now I'm ready to move, right? And the center line was like this. So my first reaction, I'm coming up the middle, right? And now let's go through the move that we said, right? We said that we were going to cut, right? So we're going to go right back to the move that we did the other day. There's going to be times I'm going to ask you for speed, and there's going to be time for precision. when you drill, I always say you revert back to the level of training. People here the other day, I had George and I had Nikki do the move, and then Nikki already had corrected, and then I said, you're off on that, you're off on that, you're off on that. Right now we're going to go precision, right? This hand doesn't come here, okay? I'm starting to slide through, so the hip is going A to B. So as I'm coming up, I'm like this, right? Because I want to block him from kicking my ankle. If he can get to my ankle, then as I slide through, he's going to come up also. No, hold on to my ankle, young man. As he comes up, I can't reface because he's controlling the ACL. And now as I'm trying to reface, he's coming up. I don't want that to occur. So I don't want to get my ankle touched, right? So when I first came up like this, I'm blocking him and I'm coming through like this. I'm going to ask you, now this is what, so we're going to say this hand's not going to come here, it's not going to come here, it's here. In the ideal world, it'd be this, okay? In gi, this would be great also. I grab sleeve. Says, no, this is no gi, black to black. I got one shot to shoot through. Let me get through like a rocket, right? I'm coming through, right? I'm not going to think I'm going to stop here and then go like this and like, that's not real, man. By that time, this guy's pushed me off, or maybe he beats the line here, or he starts his whole half guard series, and now we got issues going on. If he bites my hip line, now I'm going over. A lot of things can go wrong, right? So I'm shooting through like a rocket. I'm going to ask you now, this hand, where was it going? Ideally, it'd go up the collar line. But I understand, like, I'm not playing a game that's like I said this the other day. I get on the line of easy pass, like I forgot his easy pass. I get on the line at supermarket, the freaking lady forgot her wallet. It is what it is, right? So I just got to accept that this isn't going to always play in my favor. So when I came up the line like this, right, I'm blocking, right, so that you can't get to the backside. You're not going to loop me underneath. I'm not accepting anything. You're not going to hook my foot. I'm sitting on it. Now, this is what I want to just point out. Now, when we do this drill, I see some people thinking that as they come through, that I'm going to reface this guy right now. I'm not refacing you. I'm coming back in at a different angle. And that's the difference right now. Because if I come like this, and now I start lifting my hip up to don't grab my ankle. I start, because I already feel like I'm coming through. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do this. He's already come up like this, at this angle. Come up, come up. And now he's hit a shoulder roll on me too quick. I'm not doing that. So I'm not going to fight to reface you at the side angle. I'm going to face you at a north-south position to come back so you hit no shoulder roll, because later on when he comes up on that when he gets to that turtle position, I know it sounds crazy. I got to control that hip right there. That hip, not that hip, not here, not that hip. When he comes up, I'll explain right now. As if I was like this, and now Ethan's coming up the turtle, and he's coming up faster. I am nowhere near, and look at me. I mean, without getting in too crazy with detail, what are you going to tell me? You're going to go like this? No, you got so many alterations on this. He knows, he's shaking, he knows right now. This is awful. And MMA fighting only when he's hurt. And BJJ fighting, this angle is awful. It doesn't benefit me. He's going to get away from me, man. I can't allow that, right? So I just said to you, don't square up on him. Because you square up on that angle, his escapes right now when he gets up on that turtle and he's going to fight the turtle, you're going to tell me he's going to lay there and then you're just going to come through like this and go, no, you're not. I mean, come on. He's not going to do that. I would kill him if he did. When we got back to the hotel, because we were usually changing that lock, man. You're going to sleep outside. Listen, you're going to sleep outside, man. You got to sleep outside. Like, you're going to tell me you're going to give up two like that? A lot of people are doing the Hofstra tournament and the Pans and the Worlds and like, can't give that up. The young men that want to do ADCs, you can't give that up. No way, man. I'm not giving up points. And now you're going to fight the turtle and you're going to be at an angle that he's going to hit a shoulder roll, he's going to hit a step back, or he's going to shield you too quick and you're never going to get to the position. So I'm like this at this point. I'm coming through. So I'm asking you to go this way because the end product as he's coming up the turtle is to take this knee tap and then here. Right? So remember we said we were dropping the shoulder line. Okay? So now there is none. We can go deep diving. I just don't want to go deep diving and where this goes next. I let you have the darce. Keep it as a darce right now. I'm not going to go crazy on it. So when you come through this time, right now, we're going to go shoulder dropping later. We went through those speed drills. Right now, it's about precision. You're not warmed up, just get precision. Remember what I said now. right? You're like this. Remember I told you this whole analogy about points of contact. I can't move. This isn't acceptable. Sit up. You're like this. He's grabbing on me. And don't let me see this. Like, how did you think you were going, like, he's just going to pick you up? Or they'll do this. They'll take their, got points of contact, super tight. He's grabbing onto my hands, and they're doing the, like, okay, what did you going to do with this grip and this grip? Like, this is just going to go south also. Or there's like this, and they're grabbing on 2-on-1. Yeah, and they're like here. And where am I can't, like, this is all playing in his favor right now. This is not, do that again? Okay. Okay, now points of contact just changed, right? You can have this. I'll accept it. You're always going to grab me. We're not going to go through this series, but understand the philosophy and the principle. So when you're there, I mean, 90% of the bad outcomes started because you just started poorly, not because it progressed later. You literally started poorly. So right now we had the frame, right? We're here, points of contact all in his favor. I accept it. He's going to grab me. You can grab me. You can do whatever you want. All I wanted to release was one of those end steps, so you're not dominating the 4 points of contact. You're sitting on your ass, right? You want to call it your glutes, your butt, your rectum, I don't care what you want to call it. You're not very efficient in your movements, so I want to become efficient. I want to become athletic. I can't do that unless I untangle myself with my legs. My legs need to get over there. So I'm like this, push. Okay, I let go of that leg portion. I'm going to say that he kept this point of contact, right? I wasn't, if it was like this, like what he just did, I'm going to take this leg. But I'm like this, I'm coming up the line, right? I'm pushing through. As I'm sliding through, I'm protecting my backside. I'm not looking to reface you. I'm coming back at a north-south position. If I reface you, I told you what's going to happen. You're going to lose him. You are going to lose him if he's a good player. He's not going to get, you never get position on him. So as he's coming through, I'm sliding through and I'm going, okay, my head dropped. I'm behind the deltoid line. I'm controlling the tricep with my ear, my chin, my jaw, everything. My hand has to catch up before my head. I don't know where this elbow line is going to be, and I may need to drive up. If for some reason, because I'm going to be like this, and I'm just going to describe this, you're not going to do it. Please do not do it. If you're like this, he's not back on me. So I got to punch this pocket with this right hand because I'm going to lose that pocket, right? Potentially. I also want to understand that I'm like this, and he's sitting back, see right there. He's sitting back to sit on that calf back there. So I got it, regardless of if I punched the pocket or not. If I couldn't get the arm out, I'm like this going, okay, I'm starting to make a transfer, but my head, remember that delta, remember I said about this? That's the one that's going to shoulder roll because he's going to elevate and come up on me. So my head position as I'm coming up is driving to collect this top quadrant because I always had this hand. Now you had 2 outs on it, right? You had that shoulder roll, but I killed that shoulder roll early. Now I got this hand ready to punch through, grab this ankle. I could go a lot of different spots on this for you. We're not going to go there. We're going to do the move of the day. I have to tell a larger story so you understand how the story plays out. Let's part up and do it. Stay right there for me. We're not going to go 1 for 1. You got a minute and a half. I told you. The other day I want to change this because some people's drive's a little bit different than others. I want to go minute and a half. You get as many reps as you can in that minute and a half. I'll give you 20 seconds up and down. I prefer to count the other guys' reps because I want to beat them. Okay, so let's have that drive today and start the weekend right. It's 4th of July. Let's go. That's why it's great to have the same drilling partner. And he said to me, but I get caught with this and he's not doing. And then the knee comes here and then, I know. And that's what the beauty of the game is, man. Because in 3 inches and about a half a second, the move left you. So did you see it when it was there? Or were you too late? And I'll explain right now. He's like this. We'll pretend he's here. And Nikki said to me, okay, I got like this. But then when I come in here, he starts bringing this knee in between us. Yeah, I know. You were too late. You were too late. Too late. Right? You like this. And he brings that knee in. So I kick out and I drop. And now I'm capturing again, going either left or right, right? Too late, too late, too late. That's why I'm a stickler for details and drilling, right? I was like this, and he's going left, okay. I'm like this. I release, and he comes back, and he's driving it. Okay, so I'm dropping, maybe potentially I'm dropping it, I'm flaring it back the other way. I'm not going to have you guys do this right now. But the essence of what I want to just describe is like, That last one, I never stopped changing my angles. Never stop changing my angles. Never stop changing my angles. I'm gonna stay squared on you. Everything that benefits you is me saying here squared. Because what you wanna do, if you're this little person and they're this big person, is to put you on top of me. I mean, me to get on top of you. Because the moment I can get on top of you, like, I become this, like, I'm exposed everywhere. I'm just, or if I don't allow myself to get exposed, I'm gonna get reversed in 2 seconds, because I'm gonna cross my feet and lock my arms, and then just gonna dump me over. So I have to, if I'm fighting for points, or I don't wanna be a down player, period. I'm not going down. Like, I'm gonna do everything I possibly can to be the top player, because in real fighting, you don't wanna be the down player. Imagine being on concrete, so now you're exposing yourself. So I never, number 2 is, every one of these things where how I become light is because you controlled me with these double insteps. And now you're able to use me and pick me up. Wouldn't it be harder for him if I'm learning how to change my angles? Let's say I come like this. How are you gonna pick me up with this one leg? This way you could pick me up, right? And that's, remember we said the other day, I couldn't let go of that leg, so I shot this guy through to release that foot, right? And now I'm back in the same situation where the majority of my weight is sitting here, but I'm not gonna sit it here, okay? I'm not gonna get on top of you. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. He's gonna block the pocket, because Nikki said that, let's take it that way. He's like this, and now went like this. And I let go of one, right? And as I'm coming forward, he blocks it, right? This is exactly right. As he blocks it, I'm going to accept that the pocket got closed, but I want to get my leg on the outside. I also want to have one thing at this point, is that I control this hip where he's pitched at a 45-degree angle. It means the world. Remember, the essence of guard recovery is to change the center line to reface you. This is guard recovery, right? That you're like this, the center line. So if you think about it mechanically, when I went like this. I've released this leg. I'm like this. I release this leg, and I'm driving through, and he's bottling back in to fight this shield. So I told you, I want to keep him here. So as I kick out, I come right back in, and I hold his position. I don't want him re-squaring that center line to me. I do not want that to occur. I also would prefer that he not hook me with this leg, right? Or this leg. The bottom leg's not the issue, it's the top leg. So if I don't put my leg on this portion of his calf, and I go like this, I land it super wide, and I take this back step, he's gonna hook me on the inside, and now potentially he takes me in a leg lock, and if he doesn't, I realize I just got hooked, and now he lifts, and I gotta go I have to disconnect too, because my leg is sitting there dangling, so I can't allow that. So I wanna pin this leg if I possibly can. So I was like this, I flared, I came through, he blocked, I kicked back out. As I come forward, I told you this guy's a problem, right? I latch on to him, and I would prefer, since we're just doing a drill, that you advance your line higher than right now before you backstep it. A high-level player will get out of you too quick on you because you're sitting so low. And now remember what he wants to do at this point. He has a problem refacing me right now. It's a big problem right now because I'm like this, holding on and holding on. So all of my body weight is sitting here. How's he going to reface me? He can't. Right? He's got to be double my strength, or he's got to have these incredible abductor muscles, and I don't even know if those are the ones that activate. So don't send me some DM that's not the one. Believe it or not, people do that. Like, they send me these DMs, they're like, you know, I watched your video on the happy pill, and that's actually this muscle. And I'm like, all right, dude, whatever, man. Yeah, it's a true story. Multiple times. So don't equate me that's whatever it is, the muscle. So he's got a problem lifting me up. So how he escapes on you is he goes up on this shoulder to take this hip out, right? I'm like this at this point. And I think that I've done everything right. I recollected, he's gonna go up on that shoulder, and now I'm like this, and he's taking out this top leg, and he's recentering the line again. I don't want that to occur. I own a great position, don't rush it, right? We don't want that hip to come up now. When I was like this, I went like this, he blocks, and I go, okay, I've gotten the outside of the ligament, and I don't want to go left or right. Even if I don't get this, because sometimes this may be weird to the spot, I'm going that way. because I don't want to lose this hip, because I got a great position right now. You can't get up on that hip. What's going to happen is if I flip the line right now, you're going to get up on there. So I'm okay with you trying to get up on that shoulder. Go that way. I can easily drive up and now collect you before you get up. So you're not in any form of strong or athletic, but you have minimal movement to get your hip out. So I'm going to ask you to drive that way first. He's not going to give you any defense. Drive that way first. Get on top of this hip and understand your man. Understand, how the freak did he get out on me? Just don't tell me. I hate when I go, you know how he got out on you? And they'll go, yeah, he created this scramble. You said he didn't create a scramble. You made an error. And admit to your error. Because you didn't do your homework, and you didn't pay attention, and you didn't absorb it, and you didn't want to write, and you wanted to be lazy. But I love it, right? There's a young man, and she knows who he is. If I say him, I call him, he's a Ferrari. He's got the body of a Ferrari. And I always say, she knows it, she's a shaman, she knows. I say to him, you know what you have? You have a Ferrari. That's what you have. You have a Ferrari, and you're trying to drive at 100 miles an hour as you watch the navigation. And you're crashing into everybody. He literally hurts everybody. And not because he's crashing all over the place, relying. And then he goes and competes. And people, the other day, Larry knows who he is also. He comes to me and he goes, man, he lost in the first round. And I thought to myself, why would he think he's getting to the second? He wants success, but he don't want to put the work in. He don't want to write, right? Right, Leela? Right. You know. Right? Yes, sir. Okay, there she goes. She knows. Yeah, I think, you know what? I tease her because I believe that she can win ADCC in 4 years, and she wants it. She wants it, you know? If I asked her, like, hey, you could have, you know, that she's probably the one that would answer this. They had this analogy where they asked all these Olympians, they said, you know, you could have, and I don't want to mess this up with you because they'll send me these DMs on, is that you could have this gold medal, right? Or only have like 5 more years left of life. She probably picked the 5. You know, she wants that gold, and I love it, man. You know, hey, you ought to be great, man. You got to think outside the box. Some people think you're crazy, but that's when you got to say, all right, I'm doing it right, man. I'm doing it right. So I'm like this at this point. I went like this. It was here, right? I flared out. He blocks it before I come in. Perfect. Come back in 1 second. I'm like this. I flared, right? I was like this. I let go. As I come in, he blocks. As I come out, I just collapse. I own the outside ligament. I don't want to let go. Remember, the hip's going to leave me, right? So I'd love to get this pin. So as I drive up, I collect this pin. Now, as Ethan starts to come up, it's whichever way you want. You want to come up? Okay, so now I've taken this back control. I can come back 1 second. I'll give you options, guys, right? You're like this at this point, right? If I get control of this leg with this hook, I know I'm going to go that way because I don't have to worry about getting hooked. If I'm like this at this point where I can't get this leg that is sitting so low, keep driving this leg higher, but have one goal, because what they'll do is they'll sneak underneath you and try to take this leg on an inversion. I can't allow that. So make sure your head position is correct. If he can potentially, can't get anything to this leg, he can get to this leg. So make sure your head position when you're driving is not like this. I don't want him hooking this leg and now start pulling it in. And now this happens in class where they start elevating you. And now they're coming up like this. So as I'm like this at this point when I drove it, the first thing, I'm like this. If you didn't watch Birdie fought a couple of weeks ago, and one of her matches was going to be with one of the teams that has incredible leg locks. And they have 2 lead girls. One of them was that one. And all we did was, we're going to fix his head position. So we kill it. I didn't see the match yet. Somebody told me that, man, she made that girl look like she took her lunch money and she was here to collect it. So my head position's critical. As I've driven forward, my head position drops here, so you can't get to this leg even if you bite onto it. If you want to bite onto it, I'm going to go to hell, because I'll keep driving up the center line to kill that grip. But I'm like at this point. So I drop in front of the knee line, I collect the head, and I go into a full mount. You can do both, okay? We'll get started right after this. You got about 10 minutes of drilling. I told you this long story. For me personally, I know I don't sometimes get you a lot of time to drill because I talk so much. But I'm telling you, man, John, you know, he sat in that circle and he talked and talked and talked. Those young men listened, and I did also. I'd rather listen, but you got to write it. You got to write it. You got to get a couple of reps and you got to write. You got to write. You got to do the work, okay? Don't expect to be a champion on Champions Day when you haven't done the grind. Let's rock. Come on. Let's do it. I don't really think that he checks all these other little boxes that are so weird to check in one person, that he's this outlier, and that he can talk so much junk, and then he walks in and he backs it up. Like, that's hard. And then everybody wants him to lose. He's in this big stage. Like, you know, a lot of people, they can't answer that call. And then answer the call and do everything how it was supposed to go, right? And that's like, try your best to drill perfection when you're drilling. How do you think, like, I don't understand how the mind thinks sometimes when I try to look at the greatest players, like, and I go, what does he do? Like, how does he do it? Like, that's what I mean. There's some things that people are doing. They're like this. They flared this and they come here like this. And now they're doing this. That's not where I tell you to put your hand. Like, you're like this, and what he's going to shoot underneath. You gave him full access. You've, whether it be half guard, and now they're doing it over and over and over. And if you remember what I told you from the beginning, and now you just think it's going to get better on you, and then I just told you about your head position before, and now go slow into what I mean by it. And this is why you'll say, I'll go, you got caught in that leg lock again, huh? And I'll go, yeah, man, he's got good leg locks. How about you take ownership and you go, Professor, I messed up again, right? But you want to give him a compliment when he just took what you gave him. How about you remember that saying? Because that's how life mirrors itself. Always ready to blame somebody else, but never ready to take responsibility. I'm like this. I went like this, and he drops. And I'm going, okay. I'm here like this. He's dropping. I'm holding this line. This is what I mean by it. I see people. Right there, I just said, if you get this, you go that way, but we didn't say we got that. And I see people doing this. They're coming underneath, so right here. They're coming underneath with the head. They're like this. They're putting this arm up here like this. And then they're transferring high like this. That leg just went airborne, dude. That leg just went airborne. And what I said, take ownership, dude. Take ownership. I didn't tell you to move your head. I told you once the pocket opens off of head dominance, because I can't let you get to this leg, man. Can't let you get to this leg. I'm like this at this point, wait right there. I'm coming up high with this leg because I need it as a tool. And now Danny's coming underneath. And I'm going, okay, I'm driving. Now I can pin it this way, but I'm not letting you touch my leg until I flatten you out because I got to make a transfer again, right? So start trying your best to imagine it. I'm an asshole, right? I get it. But I really, really care about this room, and the better each individual gets, the faster he's got to react, right? So even if you're a slouch and you don't like to drill and you're lazy and you think that you're okay, I just want to go, yeah, I know, but then you hold the room back, man.